Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And today we're going to go into the book of Genesis, the 34th chapter. And Dinah, the daughter of Leah, which she bare unto Jacob, went out to see the daughters of the land. So basically, remember now they were dwelling in the land. So she basically was trying to make friends, that kind of thing, and see what's going on out here, as it says, with the daughters of the land, so the women. And when Shechem, the son of Hamor, the Hivite, prince of the country, saw her, he took her and lay with her and defiled her. So Dinah was a virgin, but he basically humbled her, right? He took her by force, and he took that. And his soul clave unto Dinah, the daughter of Jacob, and he loved the damsel, and spake kindly unto the damsel. So basically, afterwards, he really wanted Dinah, right? And he wanted to make her his. So he spoke, as it says, in a loving and compassionate and so on manner. And Shechem spake unto his father Hamor, saying, Get me this damsel to wife. So, in other words, make arrangements, talk to her family, talk to whoever it is. I want her. And Jacob heard that he had defiled Dinah his daughter. Now his sons were with his cattle in the field, and Jacob held his peace until they were come. So he didn't say anything until his sons returned. And Hamor, the father of Shechem, went out unto Jacob to commune with him. And the sons of Jacob came out of the field when they heard it. So when news got to them that this is what had happened to their sister, they basically, they returned back. And the men were grieved, and they were very wroth. So they were pissed, because he had wrought folly in Israel in lying with Jacob's daughter, which thing ought not to be done. Because remember, there was a separation between Israel and the heathens, right? So this was and at this point, even though they weren't called Israelites, they were still separate, right? And that's also why Abraham stressed to Eliezer that he should not take a woman of the Canaanites for Isaac, but rather he should go to one of Abraham's relatives and get him a wife from there. Same thing Rebecca stressed. So here, not only was it a heathen, an uncircumcised heathen, basically trying to join himself, not even trying to. At this point, he had defiled, right, their daughter, their sister, as it says, which thing ought not to be done. And more than likely, had he come and asked beforehand, they would have told him no. And Hamor communed with them, saying, The soul of my son Shechem longeth for your daughter. I pray you, give her him to wife. So he basically came to talk to them to try and get them to agree to allow Shechem to marry their daughter. And make ye marriages with us, and give us your daughters, or give your daughters unto us, and take our daughters unto you. So they basically wanted to make this like pact, this agreement, through first the marriage of Dinah and Shechem, and then basically to say like, let's intermarry. And ye shall dwell with us, and the land shall be before you. Dwell and trade therein, and get you possessions therein. So you can basically be like one of us, this guy. And you have free access to everything. You can trade, you can buy land, you can do all that. And Shechem said unto her father, unto Jacob, and unto her brethren, that is the patriarchs, Let me find grace in your eyes, and what ye shall say unto me I will give. So just be gracious unto me, and anything you ask, I'll give it to you. Ask me never so much dowry and gift, and I will give according as ye shall say unto me. So whatever amount or whatever dowry you want, you just tell me and I'll give it to you. But give me the damsel to wife. So he was adamant about it. He wanted her. And the sons of Jacob answered Shechem and Hamor his father deceitfully, and said, because he had defiled Dinah, their sister. So they came up with a plan and they basically lied to him because they were upset that he had defiled their sister. So they said unto him, we cannot do this thing, to give our sister to one that is uncircumcised, for that were a reproach unto us. See, because all our males are circumcised, so there's no way we can have our sister marry somebody that is uncircumcised. But in this we consent unto you, if you will be as we be, that every male of you be circumcised. So if you are willing to circumcise yourself and all your males, then we'll be willing to consent and have an agreement. Then we will give our daughter unto you, and we will take your daughters to us, and we will dwell with you, and we will become one people. Remember, they were speaking deceitfully here. But if you will not hearken unto us to be circumcised, then we will take our daughter and we will be gone, i.e., their sister. And I mean, we'll see in as we keep reading why it is they decided to say this. And their words pleased Hamor and Shechem, Hamor's son. And the young man deferred not to do the thing, because he had delight in Jacob's daughter. And he was more honorable than all the house of his father. So he did not hesitate in doing this. He said, yo, let's get this done ASAP. They said, if this is all they ask, hey, I'm going to do it. And Hamor and Shechem, his son, came onto the gate of their city, so the entrance of their city, and communed with the men of their city, saying, these men are peaceable with us. Therefore, let them dwell in the land and trade therein for the land, because it is large enough for them. So we have enough space. They've made an agreement with us. Let them in. Let them dwell with us. This is all right. Let us take their daughters to us for wives, and let us give them our daughters. Only herein will the men consent unto us for to dwell with us. So they only have one condition, to be one people, if every male among us be circumcised as they are circumcised. So they only have one condition, and that is that they all get circumcised. Shall not their cattle and their substance and every beast of theirs be ours? Only let us consent unto them, and they will dwell with us. Right? So basically, once they become one, all their riches and all that, it's all gonna be ours anyway. So let's go ahead. Let's agree. And unto Hamor and unto Shechem his son hearkened all that went out of the gate of his city, and every male was circumcised, all that went out of the gate of his city. So they basically listened, they took heed, and they all went and got circumcised, like a circumcision event. And it came to pass on the third day, when they were sore, because getting circumcised at an adult age is it can be a very painful thing, and it can take a long time, or take a while to heal. I wouldn't know, but I'm just saying, if you look it up, it'll tell you that. It says here that two of the sons of Jacob, Levi and Simeon. So now you see why they went and said that. So Simeon and Levi, Dinah's brethren, took each man his sword and came upon the city boldly and slew all the males. Sheesh. So they basically set them up. They said, you got to get circumcised, not because they really they were planning to give Dinah their daughter to be married onto them. No, but because they knew that, okay, these men in the city right now, there's a whole bunch of them. So to make enemies out of them and show our wrath outwardly would not be a good idea. But if they get circumcised, they're going to take some time to heal. While they're healing, they're weak and they're already in pain. And that will give us a handicap, or give them a handicap against us. So that's why they did that. And that's why they pulled up, as it says, when they were sore and basically healing. And they came in there and took advantage of that weakness and slew them all the males. And they slew Hamor and Shechem his son with the edge of the sword, and took Dinah out of Shechem's house and went out. So this whole time, after having taken Dinah, this demon basically had kept her, right, with him, and went to try and talk to the father about allowing him to marry her. So they basically rescued her, slew him, slew the men over there. The sons of Jacob came upon the slain and spoiled the city because they had defiled their sister. So Simeon and Levi went in there, they slew and slew and slew, and the rest of the brothers came in after and came and plundered, right? Came in and took the spoils. And this was their revenge for Shechem having defiled their sister. And they took their sheep and their oxen and their asses. Ironic how they were saying that once they, a couple verses above, the men of Shechem were saying that, oh, they would basically get all the riches of Jacob anyway once they become one. And now look at how the roles reversed. It says, and that which was in the city, and that which was in the field, and all their wealth, and all their little ones, and their wives they took captive, and spoiled even all that was in the house. So they took all the, because once they slew the males, everything else was basically a prey, a booty, a possession. And they could take, the women as servants, handmaids and so on and so forth. The little ones, once again, also as servants, and also the all the stuff, the cattle, the oxen, all of that. And Jacob said to Simeon and Levi, ye have troubled me to make me to stink among the inhabitants of the land. And that phrase means to leave a bad taste of me in their mouth, right? So now, basically, making creating bad blood, right? Or ruining my reputation in this land, okay, among the Canaanites and the Perizzites. And I, being few in number, they shall gather themselves together against me and slay me, and I shall be destroyed, I and my house. So he's saying, because these Canaanites, they hear that one of their cities was this has happened to them because of us. They're going to gather together their armies, and they're going to, like what happened during the time of Joshua. And they're going to come and they're going to slay us. Because, yeah, I may have some men servants and maid servants, but I'm not a nation. I don't have an army. I can't take these people on. So Jacob feared that. And they said, should he deal with our sister as with an harlot? So, their response, right, to Jacob, because they were pissed off at what had happened, was basically like, okay, you saying this, but like, are we just supposed to sit there and let him treat our sister like a hoe? To put in modern day English. And that brings us to the end of Genesis, the 34th chapter. And Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachak, Wadash. And until next time, Shalom.